one of those really amazing programs who put young girls in front of everybody, who allows young girls to see that they are worth it. And I owe Step Up absolutely everything. And they are the reason, they are the ones who have shaped me into the young woman that I am. They are the reason that I am here. They're the reason that I'm able to be sitting in my suite in my dorm doing this video. And if this is one way that I can show how thankful I am, then I'm going to do it.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I know today is a little bit weird for you all, possibly because for me in Los Angeles, it's been smoky due to some fires. So, and it's a little late in the day, so bear with me. I will try not to bore you to sleep. So, thank you for joining us here today at Step Up Together. I'm Briana Carbajal, and I'm a proud alumna of Step Up, the nonprofit mentorship organization behind today's summit. Today, I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know about investing and managing your finances. Next slide, please. Great, get to know me. So I'm 21. I'm a UCLA senior undergraduate. I'm a double major in political science and environmental studies. I'm also a self-proclaimed climate activist. And what that means is I've been pretty active on social media on speaking about environmental injustice and sustainable action. I've worked with the Mayor Garcetti and a couple other cities in developing climate action plans and sustainable development in their cities. So I got started into finances and investing about 6 or 7 months ago when COVID first hit. It was really hard on myself and my family, and I wanted to know, hey, I should probably know more about finances so I can protect myself better for the future. Hopefully, there are no more pandemics to come, but this will definitely for sure, taking this workshop, prepare you for any other mishaps that happen in your life. So I've been involved in Step Up since my freshman year at Gertz, Resler High School here in Los Angeles. And today I wanted to talk about this topic because women, especially women of color, are statistically less likely to invest their money in comparison to white men. There is a wealth and knowledge gap when it comes to investing within historically underrepresented communities. And I want to help change this narrative and hopefully empower all of you beautiful women to learn the basics of how to responsibly and efficiently invest your money. I will have some time for questions at the end of this presentation. So if you will have any questions, you can privately message the moderator, who will then get your question to me at the end of this presentation. But first off, to start, I would like to know a little bit about yourself. So if you can, please answer this question in the chat. What do you already know about investing? And if you don't know anything about investing, what does that phrase mean to you? I'll give you all a minute or so to think about it, and then I would love to read some responses. All right, I see some responses rolling in, so I will go ahead and read some. Some of you have said that you don't know much about investing, which is perfect because I'm here to delve into some of the mystery of that today. I've also seen that some of you know of some apps to get started, which is great. So that's perfect. That is also where I started. And then managing your money and goals over time, which is great because I'm loving that topic and I would love to talk to you all about that today. So next slide, please. So next slide is my goals for you. I would love for everyone to walk out of this presentation today feeling like they have a handle on their finances and they have the ability to be financially independent. And I would like for y'all to start with this, what I'm telling you today, that you have the ability to create generational wealth and then possibly retire a millionaire, which I know sounds a bit out there, but I'm telling you it is possible. Why this? If someone had told me all this information when I was younger, I would be in an even better financial position today. And so that's why I think it is so vitally important for me to share this with you. And generational wealth, in case you don't know, it represents assets passed down from one generation to the next. So I would love for you all to be able to retire and pass down some great chunk of change to your family, because I would have loved for someone to do that for me. Great, next slide, please. So, saving step by step. So I'm going to give you some steps you can take towards financial independence today. First step is to open a high yield savings account. I have listed some high yield savings account that I would personally recommend based on the average percentage yield, which average percentage yield is the amount of interest you earn on the bank account in 1 year. You want this number to be higher, because the higher the better, which is the more you put your money in, the more you're going to be able to take out. And they will pay you money by just keeping your money in the bank. So it's passive income for you, and it's perfect for saving up towards big goals or even just for retirement. And then another one is opening up a high yield checking account. I actually didn't know high yield checking accounts existed. I only knew high yield savings accounts existed. So high yield checking account would really change the game in that no matter where your money is, you don't have to keep moving it around to save interest. So if your paycheck comes in and then at the end of the month you get a bigger amount of interest paid on that amount that's in your account. So that's perfect. And I've also listed some of my recommendations for those highest APYs in that list there. And for some of them, if you have a concern about it's not a big bank, I'm not going to be able to get my money easily from the ATM, I know that the Consumers Credit Union does a program where if you were to take your money out of an ATM and you had to pay a fee, they reimburse you for that, any kind of ATM fees. So if that's a concern of yours, then you might want to go with Consumers Credit Union. Another thing that I didn't know is you are losing money if your money sits in an account with 0 to no interest rates, because the average rate of inflation every year is about 3%. And so if your money is sitting in an account where it's not growing on its own and doing what you can, then it's going to just be losing your money. So if I were to put $2,000 in my account, in the course of 10 years, I probably would have lost maybe $2,000 on that account. So instead of that, you might want to open up high yield savings, high yield checking, and you can avoid any of that. Next slide, please. So you might be asking, what's credit, what's interest, what's APR? I would like to tell you all to please start building credit now if you are young and have not already started. For teenagers, if you believe your parent to be financially responsible, ask your parent to add you as an authorized user on their credit card. And if you feel comfortable, please ask them what their credit score is today. If they don't know, let them know that they can check it for free. All of you should know that you can check your credit for free at any time. When I asked my parents initially, starting on this journey, they said, we don't like to check our credit because it's going to drive up, it's going to lower our credit. And that's a myth. It's a common misconception. you only get your credit checked or ran when you're opening up a new account of like a new credit card or you're buying a huge purchase. So I would say it's free for you yourself to check your credit at any time. And you can do that with Experian like I do, or there are a number of other ways to do it. For college students, a credit card I would recommend is the Discover Student Card. I have it, and you don't start paying interest until a year later. So that money that you get is interest-free until a year, and then even then, the interest rates aren't too bad. So for reference, I'm 21 and I have a 750 credit score because I opened my account in my freshman year of college. So I would love all of you to be able to say the same by taking these steps that I will give you in my next slide. Never spend more than 10% of your credit limit. Always pay in full each month. Please, 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 please enroll in auto pay so you never miss a payment. And avoid signing up for more than one card in a year. Maximize your cashback rewards, which most cards do offer. And never close your first account until after at least 2 years. 2 years is really the bare minimum of when your credit history starts to be recognized as fair. So if you have a credit card and you've only had it for a year and 9 months, such as myself, in my credit report, my credit history is deemed bad because it's not long enough. So if you open your first account, do not close it until after at least 2 years. But I would recommend leaving it open for longer if you can. And the rest of these factors on here do factor into your credit score. So enrolling in auto pay, if you miss a payment, it can damage your credit score pretty badly. If you were to enroll in more than one card in a year, you may be maximizing your credit limit too fast, and that can be deemed as a red flag by the credit unions. So that is why I'm giving you all of these tips for your credit score so that always goes higher every month. Next slide. Side hustle time. So in order to build your portfolio, diversify your incomes, and have multiple streams of income, I would like all of you to not only have your day job, but also have something else you can fall back on. So this list is arranged from easiest things to do to a little bit harder things to do. So it starts with like pet sitting, babysitting, selling baked goods, to starting your own online business, which is entirely possible. There are a lot of resources out there for starting your own online business, and in this COVID world, a lot of people are getting a head start on that. So I would really want you to take advantage of this opportunity if you have more free time on your hands, to please look into that, like I will be doing very soon. But if you have no surplus money to invest, and this is what's holding you back, this is where those side hustle money funds would go to. So there is little to no excuse to start investing if you can take these steps and you have the time, or you can manage to make the time to try to get extra income on the side that can go towards your future. Next slide, please. Okay, finally, investing, the thing we've all been waiting for. So we have a list of terms that you can read here: stock market, brokerage, and then I would like to talk to you about investing as a whole. It is easier than you think. Investing does come with risks. It always comes with risk. I'm not going to lie to you about that, but this is how you lessen those risks. So a brokerage is as simple as an app on your phone. For me, I use TD Ameritrade. It is rated one of the best brokerages in the United States. You can feel free to use that one as well. But what they are is they are the middleman between you and buying a piece of a company. And the average investor looks like you and me more than the men you see depicted in movies like The Wolf on Wall Street. That is not true. The average investor is us. So I would not like you to be discouraged saying that it's difficult or it's too hard. I'm going to tell you how to do it exactly. So First off, you want to invest in index funds, mutual funds, and ETFs. These are considered long-term investments, in other words, long-term capital gains. What you don't want to do is day trading, which is short-term investing and short-term capital gains. Day trading looks like I buy a piece of Tesla stock today because the numbers dropped. Then I sell it next week when its numbers go back up. So I've made a profit. I bought low and I sold high, but down the line, you do pay taxes on your investments. So a day trade investment would have a tax rate of 10 to 37% because you held that position in the stock market for less than a year. Versus if you were to invest in an index fund, mutual fund, or an ETF, it's taxed 0 to 20% because you held that position in that stock market for over a year. Now, if you're a teen, you can start investing under your parents with a custodial account using TD Ameritrade. And if you are a parent, I would consider opening this custodial account for your child. The sooner you open the account for your child that they eventually take over when they're 18 can lead to, I don't know, super high, like, because of compound interest, the percentage rate for what that person, if I were to start investing at 16 versus at 21, I would have had so much more money starting at 16 than I would at 21. So that is why you should probably consider opening it for your child. I would also suggest that if you have Robinhood, I'm going to break it to you that Robinhood is no good. Okay, Robinhood is kind of sneaky, and they haven't been open as like they're very new. So they're great for beginners because it's easy to do, it's an easy platform. But if you, after maybe a year like of on that app like I was, there are some stocks that you can't buy. So I would say switch over from Robinhood to another investing app if you can, such as TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, Public, which is also great for beginners, or Fidelity. Next slide, please. So next, I also wanted to talk to you all about socially responsible companies. So I will read this with you because it is a bit lengthy. Social responsible companies operate on a business model that focuses on social change and sharing its success with local and global communities. This isn't to say that socially responsible companies are unconcerned with profit. Companies are increasingly integrating corporate social responsibility programs into their businesses. CSR initiatives can look different for different companies, but it typically entails programs around charitable giving, equal opportunity in the workplace through diversity efforts, volunteerism, and environmentalism. I also linked that article where I got that definition from, and then under that is a tech talk you can watch from Audrey Choi about why socially responsible companies are becoming increasingly more popular in the stock market. Next slide, please. So one thing I also wanted to touch on that I briefly forgot to mention in my last two slides was why I say invest in index funds, mutual funds, and ETFs is ETFs and index funds are bundles, like bundle packages of companies that you can buy into, rather maybe 10 to 15 companies, you buy a little bit of each. Versus if you were to put $100 into, let's say, Apple, then you would just be investing in Apple. So this way you're diversifying your portfolio, lessening the risk, and typically these companies always go up over time. There isn't a big fall or shock in the market whenever a company doesn't do well because you're investing in so many that each one of them offsets the chances of you losing any money. So that is why I said ETFs and other ones. All right, so who are SRCs and what should you look for? I would suggest that you look for transparency. This seems like it should be easier than it is, but transparent companies make it a priority to share what they are doing with their consumers. So if you cannot easily find something about a company that you want to know, it probably isn't the best company for you to look into. Also, does a portion of their profits go to a worthy cause? You can kind of see for yourself what that worthy cause is but if it does go to a worthy cause, I would say they're generally a good company. Also, if they're a certified B corporation, if they practice sustainability, whether that be socially, financially, and environmentally, how they treat their employees and who are their employees. Personally, I like to support companies that are represented by BIPOC people, individuals, so people of color, and how are their products made? Are they made from someone who isn't being treated right? I would not support that company. But also, here are some examples of SRCs. So we have Patagonia, Clean Canteen, All Good Products, Ben and Jerry's. And then I also gave you a list here on the side that you will have access to the presentation later, so you can look at these stocks that you can consider investing in. They are all index funds that represent a bundle of companies who do social good. So next slide, please. Bad news, I hate to break it to you, if you didn't already know, Social Security will be gone by 2035. The way we are currently managing our government finances, Social Security will not be in the budget by 2035, which is great if you know now than later. Unfortunately, my parents will be retiring soon in that year, so I am helping them manage their finances now to get over that big hurdle. But for myself, since I know about it now, I can start preparing for it now. So if you want to start saving for retirement, I assure you that you can retire maybe a multi-millionaire or a millionaire. The earlier is the better. So here's how. You open up a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is a special retirement account where you pay taxes on money going into your account, and then all future withdrawals are tax-free. I also included a link there that you can look at Nerdwallet and see what that calculator looks like for you. And then there is also a 401k where you can put in your money into a retirement savings account that is typically funded if you are a full-time employee, and that company matches that money that you put in. So when you take it out, you kind of have double the amount that you put in, but that money is all taxed on its way out. So you can open up one or the other, but I would suggest if you have the funds to open up both, because that way you are trying to not get swindled by taxes either way. And then once you contribute the max contribution, so Roth IRA's max contribution is $6,000 a year, and a 401k's max contribution is $19,500 a year. If you have surpassed both max contributions, which if you have, congrats, that is amazing, and you still have some money to save left over, then I would highly suggest that's when you open an individual brokerage account. And within those individual brokerage accounts, that's where you invest into index funds, ETFs, mutual funds. And then there is also, so on that calculator, you can look into it yourself. And then if you put your age and your income, it can tell you in how many years you can retire a millionaire in. Great, next slide. So that was my last slide. And I would like to now open up the floor to some questions. So if you have any, is it message the moderator or would it just put it in the chat? Right, okay. I believe you can put it in the chat to ask some questions. So I will take about 5 or so minutes for questions. And then we also have a budgeting workshop where I will go over with you. All right, I see a question, so I will try to answer that. A company, if you've heard about them in the news in the past that they haven't treated their companies well, typically they haven't treated the companies well in the future. So, and if they say they have, it's probably a lie. A way that you can kind of think about it is generally if it's a super large company as well, like Amazon or like Amazon, for example, they make huge profits and then they don't pay their own companies really well. So that's not the best route I would go to. Also, if that company does have a union, that's great because if they're trying to union bust that company, if that company is trying to union bust their employees, then they're not being fairly treated. So I would say it is great to look for if that company is unionized. And then that is one of the ways you can think about it. Okay, also, if I can give one piece of advice for a teen looking to be financially responsible, what would it be? Well, I had some ideas on how to be financially responsible for teens. So if you would like to, please, if you're under the age of 18 and you would like to have a credit card, ask your parents if they can add you as their credit card as a authorized user. Second, once you have that, open up a custodial savings account. That is entirely possible with your parents' permission as well. And then once you've done that, your parent can then open for you a Roth IRA account. Now, I know all of these are pretty reliant on your parents, so it might take some work if you help them understand it, and then you can even show them this presentation about how this would work and what this would look like and what benefits this would bring to you. So I think most parents would be pretty understanding if they know how big the benefit is. And then you could even do some research using some of the keywords I gave you today about how that would, how the outcome would change for you if you were to incorporate all these things into your financial lives. And then going back to Sophia's company, a B Corporation is a certification of sorts where that company is certified to be really prioritizing social and environmental performance. It's a private certification for for-profit companies, and it's considered a benefit corporation. So a B certification is another way you can look at a company and say, oh, wow, that's probably a really good company. So that might be like an automatic thing, but sometimes I would say always look into things, do your research yourself, and if it looks great to you, it probably is. All right, take a couple more questions if there are any, and then we might move on to the workshop. Great, okay. I do not see any more questions, but next slide, please. Actually, let's do one more slide and then we can come back to this one. Right, so if you would like to learn more resources in case you have to go and you can't make the workshop, so these are some resources. I have been learning a lot on TikTok. It's a new platform, but it's great for people who don't want to spend hours on YouTube or don't even want to spend finding a hard time looking on Instagram. So these are some accounts that are really focused on easily teaching you the basics of stocks and finances. So here are some great accounts I found. You don't have to follow them all. And Self-Made Millennial actually isn't a finance account, but they do show you a lot of great resume tips, interview tips, and how to look for jobs. So that is also another great resource I wanted to share. And I'm sorry, one more, and then we can go back to the budget. Right, so here is my email. If you do have any questions, you can feel free to email me. I will be happy to answer your question or talk to you individually. That is also my number. And then my Instagram handle is @Carbajal_Brie. Not too hard to find. Or you can search my name either way. All right, we can give a minute and then, yeah, perfect. So You need a budget workshop. I believe in this presentation on the app, if you have it, there should be a PDF that you can open to view that worksheet. So is that right, Elle?
Can you repeat that?
Is there access somewhere where they can have the worksheet available to them?
I believe so. It should be in the app.
If you would like, I can also quickly screen share to go over this. If that's okay.
Yeah, as co-host, you have, it is also in the app confirmed.
Perfect. Okay. So I will also quickly screen share to show this with you all. Alrighty. So here is also from Nerdwallet, and it is the example of a 50, 30, 20 budget. So what a 50, 30, 20 budget is 50, 30, 20 divides your take-home income into 3 categories: 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings and debt repayment. So after your monthly after-tax income, which is the figure of your income after taxes have been deducted and the cost for payroll deductions and health insurance have already been added back in. So 50% of your income needs include housing, food, transportation, basic utilities, insurance, loan payments, and childcare or other expenses. There are 3 budget sheets that should be in that PDF. And so one of them is the basic worksheet, a college student worksheet, and a parent worksheet. So whichever of those applies to you, feel free to play around with that whenever you have a chance. And then 30% of your income is wants. So distinguishing between needs and wants isn't always easy, but here are some things that category may include. So it may include monthly subscriptions, travel, entertainment, and meals out. And then lastly, the category of 20% is savings and debt. Savings is the amount you want to prep for the future, and devoting this chunk of your income to paying down existing debt and creating a comfortable cushion is perfect. So this is an easy thing to follow, and if I'm going to show you what a simulation of income would look like. So let's say I had $1,500 after tax in my wages. I would then spend, at least in my apartment where I had 2 other roommates, I'd spent $650 on rent every month. And then I had a $30 or so electricity and gas bill. I spent about $120 on groceries, had a $30 internet bill, and then maybe had $10 for laundry. That total was about $840. And then let's say I wanted to spend some money on clothing and jewelry, $25. So that might be like a cute necklace or a cute shirt from a place that I really like. And then I could also spend another $40 on dining out, and that might include paying for myself and a friend. And then there also is another $12 membership. Let's say I had a membership at Planet Fitness. When I had one, it was about $12 a month. And so that total of needs and wants is $840 and $77. And then lastly here, I have this amount left over. So I have $550 left. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, $550 left on that I can spend with whatever I want. So the way I divided that up was 100 of it went to my savings account, 200 of it went to my 401k, and then 250 of it went to my Roth IRA. And then you can kind of see here on the bottom right what your budget looks like compared to what the 50, 30, 20 budget would look like. So I spent a little bit over on needs, and then I spent under on wants, and that money that went from wants went to my savings and debt repayment. You want to get as close as you can to that max contribution of $6,000 on your Roth IRA a year and $19,500 on your 401k a year. And so whatever money you can kind of cut to go to your savings, I would say the better. And the way that you can save, that if you don't have as much money, is that's where your side hustles come in. So if you don't have as much money and you have this budget, you still just don't have any money left for savings, that is when I suggest you start an easy side hustle to begin. And then I will also give you the tip of please autosave. So within your high yield savings account, please just autosave. It's an option where you click how much, depending on your budget, you can afford to put into your savings account. And that way, that money, as soon as you get your check, it goes right into your savings account. You don't touch it. You don't have to be tempted to spend it on something else. So you have this awesome tool at your advantage, and I would really suggest that you use that. And if you do have any questions, like I said, you can feel free to email me. And then, yeah, so I will stop sharing now, and I would like to take any, Sophia said she might need some more than $25 for clothes. I will say that if that is a priority for you, then switch some stuff around in your budget. So you can take more money for clothes and maybe spend less money on eating out or something else having to do with, yeah. Perfect. All right. Does anyone have any more questions before our time is up? And if you do need an access to that workshop that isn't in PDF form but is in Excel form, so it can easily tally up your numbers for you, you can find it on Nerdwallet. Just look up 50, 30, 20 budget. Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much, Dolores. It's been great being here with you all, I will have to say. Much better than sitting in my house at work all day. It's pretty hot, and then there is some fire and ash outside, so you guys are great. And then I will also say that if you follow this 50, 30, 20 rule, you don't always have to follow it to a T every month, but just try to do it the best you can. And then it will allow for you to have some fun while also not never spending things on things you want, never spending money on things you want, because that's just not sustainable and unexpected of you to do so. So now that you have all of this knowledge, I would like you all to now go rule the world. And then, as I've said before, it's never too late to start saving money now in your Roth IRA or some other way that you would like to save. And then also, I would highly suggest that you set your kids up for success as well. And then if you don't want to individually put in your money every month with this budget worksheet, there are other resources for you to use, such as Mint. I use Mint. It's an app, it's a budgeting app that just connects to all my accounts. And it tells me every month how much I'm overspending based on the amounts that I set in my Mint app that says I only want to spend this much on this much on this. And if I do overspend, it makes me feel guilty. So if that will work for you too, I would highly suggest you do that. Great. Well, thank you all so much for joining me. This session was brought to you by Step Up, the nonprofit mentorship organization that is putting on this wonderful event, Step Up Together. For our guests, Step Up hopes to raise over $500,000 today to fund Step Up's mentorship programs for girls and alumni. Please consider helping us reach this goal by visiting the donate icon on the Step Up Together website or app. We really hope you enjoy the rest of this summit, and thank you again. Have a great rest of your evening. Let me give myself a hand. Let me give myself a hand. Tell myself get up and dance. I move my